With the 15th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New York Jets,
Come on!
select Will McDonald, linebacker, Iowa State. Let's go!
Wow. All right.
What the hell just happened?
I didn't see that coming.
Will,
Let's go, boss.
this is Rex with the Jets. You ready to roll?
I am. I've been ready.
I love it, man. We're going to take you right here. Get ready to rush.
Hell yeah. And we right. We getting ready.
Will, what's up, man? Joe Douglas with the Jets. How you doing?
Coach C. I'm good. How you doing?
Fired up, man. Fired up to add another dog, another pass rusher. Man,
You
excited,
already know
man.
we about to get
Welcome to the
big.
family.
Appreciate it, man. We about to get
Yeah,
right to
man. I'm going
business.
to pass you over to Coach Sala now. You ready?
All right.
All right,
You
let's
said
get
what?
it. Hey, Dane Ricker. What's up, Will?
What's good, boss? How you doing?
Hey, man, we're excited. You fit a skill set, man. You
Yeah,
come into
yeah.
a really good defensive line room. We love to get
Uh-huh.
after it. We'll get you out of that 4-eye and get you in that wide 9 and get you firing off the ball and getting after a quarterback, man.
All right, I appreciate you.
Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, the New York Jets have made their selection at pick number 15. They've chosen Will McDonald, the fourth out of Iowa State, adding one more Iowa State player to our team. Last year, the Jets selected Breece Hall in a trade-up in the second round. Now you bring in an edge rusher on the other side of the field and a guy that just brings some freak athletic. He's a freak athletic specimen. That's what I'm trying to say. 9.66 RAS score. That is astronomically high. This is like out of 10, the score of how freakishly athletic you are. So this dude, he's got a monster spin move. That's kind of what he's known for, alongside jumping over cars and things of that nature. The spin move he put on Darnell Wright at the Senior Bowl practices was just absolutely filthy. This was a guy that was selected in the top 10 at offensive tackle in Darnell Wright. And I'll be honest, when I'm looking at Will McDonald, this was not someone I had on my radar at all. And as you can tell by the fan reactions, it seems like it's probably pretty common across the board here. Now, the reason we didn't have him on our board, you look at the rankings. This is from NFL Draft Buzz. These are where all these different sites had him ranked as far as a player. So you can kind of see where maybe some of us were kind of scratching our heads a little bit when the selection ended up being made. Now, Will McDonald, he is 6'4", 239 pounds. He's going to be 24 years old in June. He had 125 tackles in the 5 seasons he was with Iowa and had 34 sacks. That is all-time best in the Big 12. He had 10 forced fumbles, which is really, really cool. I love the bend forced fumbles because those are turnovers that the Jets haven't gotten. It's one of those things that I guess you kind of only get to pass rush when you have leads, and the Jets haven't had leads in a very, very, very long time. Consistently at least. Now that you have Aaron Rodgers in the building, you're expecting to score a lot more points. You're expecting to have all these opportunities to rush the other team's pass rusher, and the Jets' defensive line, they like to rotate guys in, keep guys fresh, keeps them hungry and strong throughout the entirety of the season, not just in individual games. Now, as far as the pick itself, look, the New York Jets don't have Carl Lawson or Bryce Huff under contract in 2024, so you're just going to have Clemens and Jermaine Johnson on either side. And when you look at Will McDonald, this is going to be a guy that's going to be able to slot in probably across from Jermaine Johnson if I'm thinking like future terms here. But I'll be honest, this is a position that I thought the Jets were absolutely deep at, really rich at the position, and it feels like we added to a strength, which, is cool, but when I'm kind of thinking of how I'd like to add players, especially when you're going into a Super Bowl run with Aaron Rodgers and you want to try and upgrade your team as best as possible in the immediate future, this feels like a pick that's made for next year, and you're trying to groom this guy, which I guess is probably where you would ultimately like to get your draft picks to get into place anyway. The Jets just haven't had a lot of good drafts over the course of the last 10 years, so we've always kind of been, starting our rookies in important positions And last year we got to see Jermaine Johnson kind of come along a little bit slower. He got to sit behind Vinnie Curry, he got to sit behind John Franklin Myers and Carl Lawson, and he really seemed to develop well. Same with Michael Clemens. So Will McDonald could probably have the same type of, learning curve or process where we're not going to force him out there right away. But this is a guy that could absolutely get double-digit sacks. The spin move that he put on Darnell Wright at the Senior Bowl was just really impressive. Not to mention this guy's jumping over cars. We're going to have to write some type of contract in there where this guy cannot be jumping over cars in the parking lot. Not ideal for sure. Now, Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas compared him to Randy Gregory and Brian Burns. I love me some Brian Burns. That dude is filthy off the edge. So you can have that absolutely lethal, that bend move that gets the swat of the quarterback's arms is just so important. And fumbles are one of those things that aren't really you can't. It's really look. Football's a very weird shaped ball, so when the ball hits the ground, it's bouncing every sort of direction. So you're not always going to get it the same way you might get with an interception if you break on the ball. But if you knock the ball out of the quarterback's hands, even if you don't recover it, it still winds up being a sack or a loss of down or a loss of yardage. So this is a very good player in terms of the ability to create turnovers and give your offense more opportunities on the field. Now, as far as how do I feel about the pick, and I'll be honest, I really didn't like it when we made it because I was more bitter. I shouldn't say I'm not mad about the pick. I'm more upset that the tackles went before us because I viewed keeping Aaron Rodgers upright and healthy is more important to, one, have Super Bowl success this year, two, possibly keep him healthy in the long term so that way he stays maybe longer and longer, try to get him to play into his 40s like he was kind of talking about. And to see the whole trade happen with the Steelers jumping in front of the Jets and the Patriots are the team that moves back. And I kind of want to be mad at the Patriots, but I'll be honest, I'm really not. The Jets made the trade for Aaron Rodgers before the draft, and it was something that I said didn't need to happen. I didn't think it had to happen prior to the draft. The Packers were going to have to make the move anyway prior to the start of the season. And I just can't help but feel like the move down from 13 to 15 was the reason the Jets didn't get didn't get the tackle. Look, we didn't expect all those tackles to go up early. I think having Darnell Wright even go ahead of Peter Skoronski in this draft was a little surprising for most people. I think at 15, I felt pretty comfortable at the worst. We were going to get a really good right tackle sitting there. And when the Steelers select Broderick Jones and we're just sitting there I don't know what the pick's going to be now. We're thinking maybe Kalijah Cansey. I know some of us, or a lot of us, were hoping for Jackson Smith-Njigba, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, close friends with Garrett Wilson. The Jets also don't have many wide receivers under contract in 2024, so you're talking about a team that only has Lazard and Garrett Wilson going into the future. You don't have anyone else under contract in 2024. So, I don't know. I really would have liked to have built up a weaker position because now that you traded back down to 15, you lost out on the tackle. You have a razor thin margin of error when it comes to the offensive tackle position. You have a 38-year-old Dwayne Brown who's an absolute stud and a man among men, just absolutely playing through injuries. Love the guy, but 38 years old. And then you got Becton, who hasn't played in 2 years, who you're hoping, he looks like he's in great shape, and you think he's going to, produce and whatnot. But again, you thought he was going to produce the last 2 years, and he wound up getting knocked out for the season. And then you got Max Mitchell with blood clots. I think with this type of selection, after the tackles came off the board, the Jets probably tried to work the phones. I think they were looking to move down a little bit more and still get Will McDonald a little bit later in the draft. And when no teams were biting on a trade, I think the Jets just took the best player they had on their board at that particular point in time. And look, I'm not going to get mad at best player available, but I would be shocked if the Jets didn't try reaching out to George Fant, or if you see a tackle possibly taken at the top of the second round at pick number 43 tomorrow. I don't know. The Jets telegraphed that they were going to need a tackle. The Steelers were talked about as possibly moving up to pick number 12 prior, I think this was Monday or so. So you knew someone was trying to come up and make a grab at a tackle, but you still went through with the trade, and I'm not going to lie. I'm a little salty. I wanted the tackle. But hey, Will McDonald's here. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of really good quarterbacks and offenses in the AFC, and you're going to have to try and prevent them from scoring on you via the pass. So if you can sack Joe Burrow, if you can sack Patrick Mahomes, if you can go after Josh Allen or Tua or any of these guys, and, Will McDonald can get you double-digit sacks, no one's going to care. Look, who am I, some guy on the friggin' internet, complaining about picks when Joe Douglas had a historic draft last year? We got to know. Trust in Joe Douglas. The guy hasn't steered us wrong yet. Look at how this team was when he first got here. Look at where we're at right now. We're talking Super Bowl aspirations. Just because the fans weren't necessarily expecting the pick doesn't mean it's a bad pick. So, guys, I want to hear from you. What did you think about this pick? Do you think the Jets may have shot themselves in the foot, possibly with making the trade prior to the draft with Aaron Rodgers as opposed to after the draft? What did you think about Will McDonald overall? What do you think his ceiling could possibly be? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.